This podcast is brought to you by The Unpack Show, a podcast where we interview the most self-made visionaries who have the ability to positively impact the lives of people.
Hello, family, and welcome to The Unpack Show podcast with myself, Johannes Baloyi. Please join me as I sit down with guests to have meaningful conversation where we share ideas, opinions, and experiences that are about helping you to improve your life. Today we sit down with one of the most incredible men who lives to impact the lives of people through a soulful teaching from the Bible, Mr. Michael Molemela. Michael attended a Bible school in Pretoria from 2003 to 2005. In 2005, he became an assistant pastor in Pretoria Hartfeld for 5 years until 2010. In 2011, he came back home in Mokopane and became an assistant pastor again under the leadership of Pastor Sefamela until he took over to lead the church after Pastor Sefamela retired. Michael said that he came to realize his positive impact from the lives of people who were transformed from his teaching. Mr. Michael, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, just before we open the interview, I want to ask us this specific question. It's a question that I've been dying to ask. So, in this time and age, we live in a time where people want a quick success. So, in your experience, and in this journey of life, what is it that is important that people should put in mind when going about building their lives?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. I think first and foremost, one thing that I've learned is that success is a process. It's a journey that one needs to walk each day. And it's not a quick fix thing. And what I've learned in life is that things that comes quick don't last. So the things that last long in life are things that you build gradually. And the things that are built gradually, it's those that you can sustain for a longer time. So for me, success, it's one thing that you'd have to work through in life and be patient with yourself as you walk through it and take it day by day to build that. So success is a process, it's a journey, it's not a quick thing. For example, in being left with an inheritance, maybe to inherit money or business or things, you cannot classify it as success because it's not the steps that you took. And generally, if you can look around our community, people that inherited businesses, people that inherited money, they didn't do justice, they didn't do well with money, they didn't do well with business because they don't know the pain that went through building that success. Because one thing that you need to note that I put with success is pain. It goes with pain. It's part of the journey of success that one would have to go through.
So I take 2 points from what you say. You say that you have to work your way to succeed and you have to be patient.
Yes.
So can you get deep into explaining how one should work and how one should be patient in their journey to success? So is there any period at a way at one can say, you know what, in this period I have to be successful, and how one should again be patient with themselves when working to succeed?
Yes. First, work. The thing that it's about work on success. It is that you need because it's when I say it's a progress, it needs that you put work into it. You need to work. You need to first have focus on what is it that you want to work towards. That's one thing. Now, when you start to build, you have a lot of ideas, but you have to work through them to find and fine-tune and focus on one thing that you will do best, that you will succeed at. And so a lot of guys that have done very well in the business, you see that if you ask them, they've started with doing so many things until they found that one thing that is a sweet spot, a gift, that a talent that is, I want to work on this and focus on this. And as they focused all their energy on that one thing, then they became successful on that. Now, the issue of time and patience, you cannot put time to it. The time it depends on a person to person, meaning how quick you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you move. But the slower you do, the slower you progress in that. That's the aspect of time that you cannot put like you say, in 5 years I will be there. It depends on the lessons that you learn, how quick you learn. Yes.
So it's all. So when it comes to timing, the time for you to succeed, it depends on the work that you put.
Yes.
In order to succeed.
Yes.
So if you are a slow person, if you are taking slower steps, those slower steps that are going to determine the time at when will you succeed.
Yes.
But when you take the faster steps, they will determine at how fast you succeed.
Exactly,
I really love it. So now let's get into your life personally. Perhaps we can draw out some other issues around success. So people have a way at how they see pastors and the way at how they identify them. And now, in your experience as a pastor, how is it like, and how did you manage to not only have an identity of being a pastor, but you've also tapped into the journey of entrepreneurship?
Yes, I think the first thing is that what I've learned is that pastors are people, are human beings, and I had to come to that reality that I'm a human being at first, and being a pastor doesn't make me a superhuman. Doesn't make a special person. I'm human like everybody. I'm just fortunate that to receive the call of God on my life, that God said, come join me in the vineyard, come work for me in my business. Is that invitation that comes to me. So me as a pastor, it's a ministry that God has given to me from the heart that I have, the heart of caring, the heart of loving, where I care about people. And God came to use that to say, I would use this as a tool to and increase my kingdom around where I am now. Then, as a pastor, you see that you depend on the gift that people give. You depend on the whatever that you are given. That's what you need to do to make a living in that. Now, I've learned from people in the Bible like Paul. Paul had a small business entrepreneur that he was mending and fixing tents and doing tents. That's how he survived, not only to look at the offerings of people. So for me, I thought to myself, if I need to make it in life, and I need to enjoy ministry, and I need also to be a father, that my kids don't hate God and hate ministry because they starve and suffer because of it. I needed to come up with a tent making way, which is what I did to say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm skilled with this. Let me use it to generate income so that ministry doesn't become a burden. Yes.
So it's like you had to tap into the entrepreneurial journey so that you don't only depend on what you get at church, but you also have another source of income. So in your journey, how long did it take for you to also tap into the entrepreneurial journey? So for you became a pastor, and how long in the journey of being a pastor did you realize, at this particular moment, I think I should also tap into the entrepreneurial journey?
I think I was a pastor for about 4 years. Still, when I was pastoring at the church, and I felt I needed the other things that I needed. That actually the gifts that I received from the church wouldn't carry what I needed to do in life, and I had a skill. So I thought, let me use this and see how it happens. So I did that, but in a smaller scale. It is only when I got married that my wife worked with me to say, we can grow this. Remember, before that, I didn't mind. People would, buy ingredients and make you. I'll make cakes for you, for example. Not saying, this is a business, you see. So it's when I came and realized, actually, this is a business, and if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to be able to generate the money that I need to be able to meet the ends that I do. So that's then that actually made it in a serious way a business. That, you know what, this is the business that we run, and we are fully into that. And I started learning more about it.
So take me through the process of having to make a decision of going to a Bible school. What was going on? Why didn't you take another career path like other people, but instead of going to a Bible school and decided that, you know what, I think I need to be a pastor?
Yeah, I think it was about 95, 96. Still a youth at the church, and I was one of the leaders in the church, leading the youth. And I felt a call from God that He calls me to lead a church. There was a dream that came to me. It's me leading a church that actually was a big church, and I had never seen the big church, like a mega church, for example. I had never seen that, but in my dream I saw that, and I saw myself leading that, and I know, and then I knew God is calling me for ministry. Now I talked with my pastor then, which was Muruti Maime, and she kept it. You know what? Okay. Then I went to school, finished my matric, 98, and I went to college. Studied tourism. After studying tourism, I did practicals for about a few months in that year, and then I felt. She called me and said, "You know what? I feel it's time that you should follow that dream, that calling that you have." And I said to her, "You know what? I need to work, have money, and then I'll go take myself to the Bible school." And that's when she said, "No, you come. We will make sure that you go. We will take care of the funds for you to go to the Bible school." Now, me going there or saying I'm going to the Bible school was something that God had put on my life long before. Now, as I told the elders in the church, they confirmed, or we could see this in your life. We could see this is the direction you are going. And later, when I was still in Bible school, my mother used to say, "You know what, after church you would come, while you're still growing young, you would gather people together and say, 'No, I'm rude, come, I'm going to preach to you. Sit down, listen,' and imitate what the pastor was saying, go again." So, which is something that I'm like, wow, this is so wow. And actually, this thing God had planted in my life for quite some time.
So you mentioned a dream, that in this dream you had a dream that you saw yourself in a mansion, and something told you that it was a church. So what influenced your interpretation?
No, it was a church. It was a mega church.
It was a mega church.
What I'm saying, yeah, it was a big church. Like it was such a big church. It was big. I could see people from far, and I was even on the stage there speaking from the stage. And mind you, by then I've never had seen a mega church. I've never seen big church. My mind was limited to small churches that we see, Moai or Jiriang conferencing, smaller churches, you know. But there it was a big church that I was ministering to, and I'm like, no. I remember the first day I went to Bible school. When I got there, it was a Saturday. I was going with Muruti Ali, carrying my bags and going to the college. When I got there, we were registering. We're getting into the church, mega church, in the Hatfield. Now we're getting from the back door, the big doors. They open doors slightly. We go in, and I go in, and I see, and at the stage, it's like about a kilometer away from where we are. It's like the stage is far. And I look at the stage, and it looks very small because it's far, you know.
Yeah.
And I asked the guys that were helping us and said, "Does this church fill up every Sunday?" They said, "Yeah, you'll see tomorrow." And on Sunday morning when we go to church, and the church was packed, and it reminded me, actually, there's something that I saw, was something like this. There's something that I saw in my dream.
So being at Hartfeld, seeing that mega church, it reminded you of the dream you had.
Yes, actually it gave me purpose. Why am I here?
Wow.
Or maybe I'm not lost. Yeah.
So, being a pastor, how has that affected your life and the relationship with the people you have in your life?
Yeah, firstly, from family, it gave me such a huge respect. People in my family, the adults, they look at me with respect. They respect me so much. They give me such an amazing and surprising respect. And when they talk to me, they don't talk to me like they talk to my peers, my cousins and them. They respect me so much, which is something that it's always amazing to me. My father, such a love that he shows my parents. I think this has given, it has moved me way far in the way they view me. They view me, it's like as an adult, more matured. And the peers, people always question it, or why pastor so young? Wasn't there something that you could do? At the time, we were the first actually to go to Bible school at that young age. So it was like, man, but you're still young, man. Don't you want to grow? Because the pastors are kiba khalabi, like. So when you're so young, so why do you go to that? And then some people, they just felt, they distance themselves. Why pastor? No. Some friends, I know pastor. I know.
It's something that they resent. They feel like they are not yet at an age where they should fill that position.
Yes, and they cannot communicate. You cannot befriend a pastor. I know. They feel you're going to judge them, or you're going to put such a. No, they want to stay away from.
So how did you manage to go through that process of seeing people distancing themselves from you after being a pastor?
Always go back to people. Always make them feel comfortable being with you. Or you are not a superhuman being. You are human like them, and then nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all.
So you have 3 roles in your life. Being a husband and a father, a church leader, and a community leader. So what are your responsibilities in those roles, and how do you manage to fulfill those responsibilities?
Sure. Firstly, a father and a husband, it's what the most, or the one highest call. Yesterday I saw something on Facebook, somebody saying between the church and your family, who comes first? And it's like, actually it's your family, because you are called to your family first. So I'm first the father, which I think that's what actually motivated me to even look into the issue of business, because I cannot blame God and ministry for failing as a father. So I need to rise as a father. So that's what I did. So I'm first a father, and the father needs to protect, needs to provide. That's what I need to do as a father in the house, and as a husband, to be loving as well, and supportive to my wife, believe in her, and also push her in her dreams in life, for her to go forward. That's what I needed to do. Now, as a pastor, then you're a leader. The church is a community, and that's what we need to put in place. That people should understand that church in itself is a community. So we are called to a church. It's not only that group of people, but at the church there, I'm a leader, I'm a spiritual leader, which I need to play the leadership role. I must bring counsel, and I must help people in need. People come, whether it's a physical need, it's a psychological need, it's a physical need. They approach the church and we talk, and then as a spiritual leader, we need to make sure that people are well taken care of. Community, we are to be a leader in the community. We are to lead by example, example for people to follow. And then as a leader, we are to be a positive influence in the community. So that's what the roles that I see one has put in place. Now when you get into community, we are wrong. Let's can you say something, talk, advise us here, because that's what they believe to do.
So in your entire experience from childhood development, youth development stage, and at this moment of being a husband and a father, what can you say it's life, or how can you describe life to a teenager?
Life is a journey. Life, it's a journey made of lessons. which is what I believe. And some lessons are the ones that grow us as people. There are things that we need to go through or as people now. Going from young age, I've seen Horingi. I had to be wise on the decisions that I make in life, because life in itself is made of decisions. Every day of life you are met with decisions. Now I'm saying this, I'm reminded of the Bible speaking, Hori, I put before you blessings and curses, life and death. I choose life. That life, it's series of choices that we make. It's a journey. We grow by learning, but that learning comes from the choices that we make. You make good choices, you go a step higher, you grow. You make bad choices, you remain on the level you are. That's what you do. So that's how life goes about. So every day you are faced with an opportunity to make choices. Now, for us to progress, for us to go ahead in life, we need to make right choices. Now, choices, then what then do we do? We need to be informed in the way we make choices. Now, we get informed. Firstly, I always respect the journeys that others walked. I always say that in life, as when I advise teenagers, there are two ways to learn. You either learn by listening and reading other people's or watching other people's experiences, or you can learn by experience. You to experience yourself. Now, those are two ways that we can learn. Now, if you want to learn by experience, some experiences are tough, but if you want to learn, you can learn. But there are some things that you don't need to go through to learn. You can learn from others' experiences, especially if one have made wrong bad choices. Then you need to learn from them that you don't make choices like that. For example, I always say, I would say your mother had you when she was 16. She made a bad choice in life, and she had struggled probably to raise you as a child. It doesn't mean that you should go and have a child at the age of 16, because then it would be foolishness. That you don't learn from the experiences of those who went before you. Now you go through the same experiences, you go through tough times, and they delay you in life. So to progress quicker is to learn from others who went before you. I remember the other day, so I said when I was speaking to you, Ringi, sometimes we need to go and find people by what they failed in life. Those guys that were in school and they will give another wise school, but they were clever at school at the time. And today they are nowhere to be found. They are not clever. They are having to work they were beautiful that time, but now they're in the kitchen. We need to find such people that to encourage young people to say what decisions that you make now are important. Influence. Another thing that helps us in life to make good decisions is influences. Now, but you are only a wise man that you said you are what you eat, or you are what you eat. What you feed yourself, you become that. So we eat by a lot of things. We eat, number one, by our ears, what we listen to. I always say what you spend time listening to, you'll become that. So if you hang around negative people, you become negative yourself. You don't see anything positive in life because you hang around that. From somebody else. We learn by listening, by our ears, sense of hearing, but also by with our eyes. What we see, we imitate and we want to become. So that's another lesson where we learn. So we need to watch what we watch, because our eyes are gates into us as a person, and then also it contributes onto our journey. So in a nutshell, make sure that you check what influences you to be able to move forward. Life is made of decisions, and whatever you spend a lot of time with influences you, and it will influence the choices that you make.
As you go to preach every Sunday to different people with different values in life, how do you manage to make sure that every person understands your teaching?
Yeah, tough one. Preaching is quite a job. I think people just think preaching is just standing and speaking to people, quoting from the Bible. Everybody, when they sit down, they think we can easily do that. And people, when they sit, they think, it's easy. I could have done better, especially when you sit. If you watch soccer from the stand, you always think that if you were in the ground, you'd do better. You'd play better. But if you put in the ground, you might not even do what the other person was doing. Actually, they are much better than you. So that's what you do. From a distance, you can judge. Now, being a pastor, it's a hard work in a sense. You are pastoring and you must speak to a different group of people that are in different journeys of life, different stages of their life, different ages, different experiences. So you need to preach and speak in order to reach all the ages. Now, yes, you do prepare to find a way you can reach all the people. But one thing that you do is trust the Holy Spirit to use you to speak and reach all the others. Now, I always seen that for me, experiences and stories, illustrations are what helps me to reach different age groups. Stories are very good. They are multi-generational. They reach everybody. People can relate. People easily put themselves in the story and can find the spot and their corner in the story and can learn from that point. So stories are beautiful to do. I use that often, and try to reach all the people. It's difficult for us, especially because one church, bigger people, all in one big group. Others have different. They have good youth service there, children ministry there and that. But we have one in one place. That's what we do. But with the Holy Spirit, one has been able to do that. Yes.
So most of the time, for you to reach out to everyone, you use stories and illustrate stories so that people can be able to understand, even though they come from different backgrounds with different values in life. Yeah,
stories work. People relate to stories. Stories, even the Old Testament oral traditions was the way that messages were communicated. Things were communicated by ways of stories. Lessons were communicated in that. They're not growing up. I remember Dinonwani was one of the ways they were sitting and telling us Dinonwani in order to tell us the messages. It was stories, small stories that were teaching us lessons in life. So that's what it does. Yeah.
So in your own wisdom, what do you think is the cause for people to drift away in life?
Drifting away in life, it's when you lose sense of purpose. Yeah, it starts with losing purpose. If you don't know why you do what you do, that's the beginning of you losing focus. And when you lose focus, you drift away. There is a movie that they showed us when we were still in Bible school. It was the Jamaican bobsled team. Bobsled, it ride on ice. Now the Jamaica, it's in Africa, there's no ice. So they decided, these guys, to have a bobsled to enter a world competition of bobsled. So they did a semi-bobsled thing, then they pushed and practiced on the grounds of Africa, and falling and that. And they went to the a place where there's ice to go for competition. Now getting there, they get a real bobsled for the first time. They practice with the bobsled. They slide and fell a couple of times, but until they got the ride of it. When they got the hang of it, now they come from a harsh environment. So you can imagine, then they could do well. They could do better on ice. They could run. They could run faster. They could do faster. Now the other guys were afraid that these guys from Africa, who They come from hot areas, no eyes. They're coming here and they're going to win this competition. So one day they made some semi-naked ladies to stay on the other side of the road. So now these guys are coming with the bobsled, coming and they are winning. They are on time, actually before time. They're going to make it. So as they come, then the ladies come and start shaking and hey, calling them and waving at them and semi-naked ladies. And these guys see, ladies. And they lose focus of what they are doing here. They looked at the ladies and they capsized and then they lost in that. And the coach was talking to them, no, you lost focus. Now, for you not to lose focus is to get to the sense of purpose, why you do what you do. When you know what you do, you will not let anything move your focus away from what you're doing. Then with you focused, you'll be able to get wherever you want to go, and you won't be sidetracked, and you won't lose that. So sidetrack is the weapon of the enemy. I always say when the enemy brings things to sidetrack you, I've been sidetracked many times myself. It's when the enemy knows that you are going somewhere, and what you're about to do is not good news to the enemy's camp. So then he allows things that will distract you from your purpose and what you need to be doing.
I love a sense of that. So losing a purpose in life is the one reason in particular that makes people to drift away.
Yes.
I love that. So, as I mature and grow, I start to realize that as individuals, we have the responsibility to help each other. And I remember there's a time somewhere back then where we talked about this, that, as people, we have a responsibility to hold each other and to hold hands and help each other in order to build a better world. So where do you think we can start, or what can we do to help each other?
Well, we need each other more than anything. There's a song that that says, I need you to survive. You need me, I need you. We all are part of one body. Or it is His will that every need be supplied. You are of importance to me, I need you to survive. Now that's a thing that you need to look at when you look at life. Life is not an island. In life you cannot do on your own. I am here where I am today because of somebody, and I'm going to go where I want to go, or where I would be tomorrow, because somebody would have believed in me today and helped me today. So as a person, I need to look beyond myself. I need to look beyond myself and look at life, that I need the others and they also need me. So if I can do good to you today, tomorrow I will need you. So whatever I do to you, good to you, tomorrow you are able to give it back to me, or even not you, somebody is be able to give it back to me, because the investment that I've made by doing good to others, people will return that in doing good to me. So that's what I need to do in life. Help others where you can help others, and because one day you will be helped yourself. So that's what you need to be doing.
So what are the principles or values that you live by on a day basis?
Principles that I live by, first, it's humility. Humility is a key thing. Remember, the way up is the way down. Scripture says God humbles the proud and gives grace to the humble. So for me, humility is one thing, that is a principle that I don't lose. I go with it everywhere I go. I go to a place, I don't get there and say I'm a pastor, I'm important, I need a front seat. I sit wherever I sit. Actually, I confuse people when I go to places. I don't rush and want pastor's table. I don't want recognition. Pastor so and so is here. I'm Tsepisho. That's what I am. I'm Tsepisho. Tsepisho is here. It's Michael Tsepisho. You see, that's how I introduce myself to others, because then you relate to me for who I am. When I start to say I'm pastor, then you start to tell me about the verse that you read yesterday, you try to be spiritual in a way. So I try to move away from that. Principle 1 is humility, and then 2, respect. Respecting, I respect people regardless of where you come from, regardless of age. Respect, you give respect, you get respect from other people. And then always look at the positive in life. Believe in everybody. Everybody can, and you can learn from anybody in that. There is no one that you can not learn anything from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in closure, there's probably someone somewhere who's listening and they think that life is difficult. What can you say to this person in closure?
In closure, life is not difficult in itself. Yes, one would say you don't know what you're talking about. I believe the difficulty of life comes in the lessons that one does not learn. I think the difficult times in life, the lessons, they come for us to learn. The quicker we learn the lessons that we have, the quicker we are to move away from them. So for you to make life easy, if you say life is easy, is for us to learn as quick as possible to move away from the experiences that are in life. So learn, move. Learn, move.
Wow, that's amazing. So the quicker you learn, the faster you move away from the challenges.
Yes.
And one thing in particular, you need to learn.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Everybody, this has been Tepiso Michael Molemela, one of the most incredible men, and I hope you'll love this and enjoy it. And mostly, I hope that you'll draw some wisdom from it.
Thank you for joining the podcast. If you would like a comment to be recorded on the podcast, send it to our WhatsApp number 061 453 0960. 061 453 0960.